Call the meeting to order. Jeff, do you want to read the roll?
Martin.
Present.
Commissioner Kiesling.
Here.
Commissioner Cassidy.
Present.
Party online or in the meeting room, but if, oh, Commissioner McCarty is present.
There he is. Good.
Got a email from Brad Tucker saying he was not going to be here.
You made it.
Okay. No minutes.
No minutes, I apologize.
All right. This will be a short meeting. All right, we have before us a claim for approval for Financial Solutions Group of $11,200. This covers work that's associated with our TIF districts. I was trying to recall, these are documents that are prepared in addition to the documents that are part of our standard annual contract with them?
Yes, these are, each time we issue a bond, that we have a section that requires us to disclose things on an annual basis. What we have here is those disclosures on the last few years, because there was, our funds were paying for it when it really should have came from this, correcting some of those past payments.
Does anybody have any questions?
It gets us even, keeps all the paperwork in order, and FSG gets paid, so they'll continue to be our financial consultant. Okay.
No questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval of our claims for Financial Solutions for $11,200.
Motion to approve in a second for the approval of claims for Financial Solutions Group in the amount of $11,200. Jeff, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Martin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Cassidy.
Yes.
Commissioner McCarty. Yes. Motion is approved, 4-0.
Thank you. Okay, we are up to staff comments. Who wants to go first?
Hello. So the Fullerton Pike project, I'm going to have to move the ribbon cutting back a little bit due to, 2 inches of rain again on Sunday. We're going to look at around the 8th to the 12th, but I will get a date out there to you guys as soon as I can. Sunrise greetings, it's around the same time of probably the end of August, which is next week, middle of September to finish that up. So I'll get the dates for those. So probably within the next three weeks or so, we should be finishing up those projects.
I haven't heard anything you said because I took them out so I could hear, but I can't hear you with or without.
Okay.
Sorry about
I'll
that.
email you.
Pardon?
I'll email you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a big update, but I hope everyone else, I don't know if you guys saw that Simtra bought the old GE site from Cook, and so been discussing with them. We're working with them on a potential tax abatement that will go to the county council next Tuesday. That abatement looks like it may be more than our standard 10-year, where it degrades 10% each year, but it's going to have some triggers in it that boost it up if they make certain investments in the future, additional equipment in that site in 3 years and 6 or 7 years, and then potentially even a third line in 10 years. So it's going to be tied to additional as it goes forward, as well as the jobs associated with those. And so that's going to, I guess, positively and negatively affect the TIF district. It shouldn't go any lower than what we're collecting now, but it would lower the increase based upon that kind of investment because of those abatements. I think the office is that we've had two fairly look at that and had abatements granted on that property for them, and it just never panned out. So I think it's going to be a little bit more aggressive with what we had looked at in the past.
I'm trying to think, will the revenue that it's generating now pay off the existing bond on it over the course of that time?
We shouldn't receive less revenue than we're receiving now, because you can't abate things. We are currently receiving more than our bond payments, and we've been trying to pay that off quicker.
Right.
It won't slow that down any, or it shouldn't. So I would still expect it gets off in the next 2 to 3 years. But I don't think it will accelerate it.
And how long does that TIF district last now?
Formed in 2017, and I believe it was a 25-year, because it's a commercial. It should have been a 25. It should be a 25-year district, so it would end in 2040.
Okay, so there could be bonding in the future.
Correct.
On that property.
Yes.
Okay. We have an estimate. When we issued that bond, we had a list of things that were supposed to be being done. Some of those I know about. Have we determined what has been done and has not been done? And does the new owner have any obligation to finish those projects that were indicated by the previous owner?
Obligated is in the sense that it's tied to the bond. No, I don't think they have an obligation, but I do know that they're and so through the planning process, there are obligations outstanding on that property. You know, I assume that process is going to be looked at again as they looking at multi-million-dollar improvements, I think, yet this year. On
Streetscape along Vernal is the bigger Curry is the big issue. That they've made improvements for the parking lot. We took out the power system up at Profile Parkway intersection.
The other one was the other big one that I remember was the trail.
So I thought there was some work on the streets.
We'll have to look at.
Right.
Along those lines, Jeff, my understanding from previous discussion, didn't really draw down anything on the bond.
Correct.
Except for the closing costs.
Yes,
of which we're obligated to pay back, and the stream we have at the present moment should be able to retire that existing bond in 2 to 3 years.
That's my memory. It's in that neighborhood.
So anything that commitment-wise would have been through a planning basis, nothing was drawn down. So essentially, we've already got an increased assessment rather than a vacant, empty factory that's got us where it's seeing improvements, and this new TIF or new abatement that is moving forward through the process will not negatively affect the Redevelopment Commission or the commitments we've already made.
It won't negatively affect the commitments you've made. It will make it, it'll be a longer period of time before you have enough revenue to make new commitments, but.
Right,
But
with that, once that comes through, we'll start seeing additional revenue that'll pay into this TIF, which will give us the ability, or one of the Semtra or one of the other individuals there, to utilize something for public infrastructure if.
I would just say, when this TIF was created, it was to get that building back to functioning. And
Right.
so I think that even if this all goes through, and it's got processes to go through, it's achieving the goal of what that TIF was created for. And what we're talking about is the gravy that goes on top of it, of other things we could do to help benefit that property in that area.
Win for the community as a whole, based upon Semtra and Cook working together.
They could go anywhere, and they're already improving just south of that. And they're getting a new ladder truck for the area.
Exactly.
Right, that will benefit that factory.
So
Any other staff comments?
real
Please.
quick question.
Yeah.
If I shoot for the 10th or the 11th of September, can you guys check your schedules? That's a Wednesday or a Thursday.
When in September?
September 10th or
Oh,
11th?
That's a change.
Yes. It'd be a Wednesday or a Thursday.
I can do the 11th, not the 10th, I can tell you that.
The 11th,
I'm in.
you're in.
Either one.
Either one? So I'm going to shoot for the 11th then.
Okay.
I'll keep it at 4:30. It's up to you guys if that time works. If you want during the day, but school is in session. So I hate to get in the middle of the school hours.
And there's usually an event on September 11th.
Right, good point.
So if you're doing it that day, I would.
Yeah,
4:30?
So shoot for 4:30 again on September 11th.
That's better.
Okay.
Where?
At the west end of the bridge.
West end of the bridge.
So it'd be just past
bridge.
Fuller, or just past Rockport Road.
Okay.
So there's budget session
There's budget sessions on the 11th.
as well as the.
So we're going for the 11th at 4:30. Did I hear you say that?
How about if we shoot for 4? Probably won't take,
Budget session starts at 5.
it won't, shouldn't take, but less than a half hour. 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock work? Okay,
But it wouldn't conflict with the county budget session.
okay.
So what time are you saying?
3. Would 3 work?
3 o'clock.
It's not at noon, and it's before budgets, and, yeah.
School's on the other side of the bridge.
School's on the other side of the roundabout, so they won't be able to get through there at that point anyway, so. So we will set that for September 11th
Okay.
at 3 PM.
Okay. Got that.
That was just easier than emailing back and forth many times, so.
Please.
Out Fullerton?
Uh-huh.
Do we have any money left over?
In Fullerton?
Uh-huh.
So what funded that was the bond, which the major bridge pays back that bond, and then a piece of some of the Fullerton Pike TIF, and we really haven't used any of the Fullerton Pike TIF funds. It doesn't bring in a lot of money. We do have change orders on the project, but it'll be a long time before we see an end to it of auditing and change orders at this point.
Well, the reason I ask this is you're presentation last evening at the Plan Commission was very good. Changing a address to have a consistent road, where we went from Lisa and the Highway Department graciously said, we're going to make a road with the same name going across town as far as we can.
It'd be nice.
So we went from Fullerton to Gordon. But in that, we have a section of Gordon Pike, of which there's approximately 14 houses that would have to have address changes. And the reason I ask about the TIF, what we would have to do to have somebody, or what it would take to say, can we get your addresses changed of those? So we had Fullerton Pike all the way from 69 to Walnut Street. Without
I don't know how many property owners are addressed in that section. So you would be talking, there is a few houses in that second phase, or the second phase that we did of, and fell into phase 3 of Fullerton. You probably do have 10 to 14 houses along that stretch. It's probably something I really would not want to put the property owners through at this time.
I know, but
Because they've put up with a lot from us over
That's right.
the last 10 years, I feel like.
But you give them such a beautiful roundabout and an entrance into their community, right with the school. And is there ever a good time? And just asking them, because I don't know what it takes. I know you could probably force it, but we never want to force things. Ask that so we had continuity and consistency on that road, because all of us being from this area, you know, you try to give somebody an explanation of, well, I need you to go down to Tap Road, and then you get on
Let me give you a
Country Club,
little
then you go to
history
Winslow.
about a similar problem.
Really?
When they built 446,
Uh-huh.
they cut the old road into many different sections, each of which kind of had its address, but when they went to the 9/11 stuff, trying to tell emergency vehicles
that's right.
where you were located in that piecemeal piece of the highway, that became a problem. And then some of the residents couldn't, trying to give somebody directions where you live when your road is cut into pieces and parts and stuff is very difficult to do. So we, both by the emergency responders and by some of the property owners, to please deal with this. So different names on each of the individual sections in there. So they were all named. We tried to get names that were appropriate for the history of that segment of the road and that kind of thing. But sometimes you have to let the problem that it's created get severe enough for enough people to understand that, oh, we got to really do something about it. So in
Yeah.
Lisa's case, she's right. Those people aren't going to want to do this now.
No.
But 5 years from now, they may be more than ready to get.
Well, and I think it's something, we have an address committee in the county.
That's right.
And it's, City of Bloomington, it's Monroe County, it's the fire districts. I think it's something that you can entertain to them, that way, if with the fire districts and everything and the postal service, is this in dispatch?
That's
Is
right.
it a problem? Is it a problem that you still have this little piece of roadway still called Gordon Pike? And if you see that that is an emergency issue, then I think that's where it could be addressed. But I think letting it open and see how it plays out, and then maybe take it to the address committee for the board's opinion.
Yeah. And the question I'm trying to ask, is it worthwhile having because, they have a little group there because of the roundabout that occurred, of actually asking the neighbors.
And the Banner group is great, and they've been great to work with, but I don't know that any of them are those 10 to 14 property owners that live right there that would be affected. So,
If they came to you, would you support changing it if they said, we'd like to have this done?
yes, I would. It would cost to change signage, but I think if you have less confusion for a small piece of road,
good.
having a different name just in between Roar Road and Fullerton Pike, it would make sense to me that it's either you extend Roar Road and get rid of that little piece of Gordon Pike, or you extend Fullerton east and get rid of that little piece of whichever way would work, because you're changing it at the roundabout anyway.
Roar, we're still in the city, or in the county. We're still in the county on Roar.
pieces of it
Well,
are.
I meant
Yeah.
that one little section
Yeah.
right there.
But yeah, you have that section over there, though, that goes all the way past Sarah Road,
Right.
War Road.
Roar does go. So,
Right,
so
right.
the only section of Roar, we wouldn't even have to get into Roar. We would take the section.
You could take War all the way to the east end of the roundabout and get rid of that piece of Gordon.
Or you could take Fullerton.
Or you could take Fullerton and take it east.
Either way.
It's either or.
Okay.
But I think it's something that could be considered. I think it would be something good to be considered, especially if emergency services sees that it's a problem that you just have these few houses that's Gordon Pike left. So,
Post office is usually pretty good about working with people, but emergency services, if nothing else, is really the most important thing. The reason to do it and making sure that every one of them gets the information, because heaven forbid that we have an emergency right at that and they don't know where it is.
exactly.
They think it's this, but it's this.
Yeah.
And it's just very scary. I've been on one of those committees and hearing them talk about the emergency services and how important it is to make the changes
Yeah.
when it's important to do it. Now, there's a lot of people and a lot of kids that live along there, so the more we get people involved, the better it'll be. So,
Well, the reason I asked about if there was any financial situation, if one of the 10 to 14 neighbors said, well, I've had my address labels and such for 10 years on here, and it's, $6.99 to get new labels.
Now, that would be up to legal, and if you could use the funding from a TIF for something like that.
I'm just,
that'd be good.
Yeah.
We
I'm
could
just-
provide
That would be my only question.
Right.
Would I want to help them to do that, to alleviate some of the pain for them? Absolutely. Can you use TIF funds for that purpose? I'm not. I'm not sure.
I just have to bring that up because, yeah. And I'm not even going to.
It's gonna happen.
I'm
It's
not
gonna
going to
happen.
suggest that. Just
Right.
if it's acceptable.
I'm thinking there might be some other budgets we might be able to use if we couldn't use the TIF, so.
Yeah, the main objective is, as we see things in the neighborhood, to actually just engage some of the neighbors. I mean, I don't expect you to do it, but, get
Yeah,
some of the neighbors.
to me, the address committee is a good resource because that is who deals with dispatch and the addressing issues. So once you get it open and if they start seeing issues, I think then it really should be addressed, but would not be popular.
Maybe I missed it. What, are we still going to do some opening on Sunrise?
We will.
September?
Don't have a date for that one. I asked for an update today. Well, I do have an update for that one. I don't have an opening date for that. I have an update for the project through next Friday, but that's having the stripers come in and everything by that point. So might be around the same time for the ribbon cutting for that
Is that
too.
almost open, or is it open?
It's not open. They're setting the street light and everything. That's in the schedule for next week and striping, which is,
Okay.
and they're already starting to do
I
the
haven't
cleanup
been down
work.
through there because.
We'll probably do a sunrise greetings before we do Fullerton
Okay,
Pike.
that'd be good.
So I might be able to switch the one for September 2nd. I don't know.
Okay.
Last question on Fullerton. Do we have any idea how that's going to affect traffic? Change and.
The ones that I think at the beginning are going to vary, that's going to benefit, are the subdivisions that have been dealing with cut-through traffic for years, before even the project started. People would use Bachelor Heights, Eagle View to get where they were going to get out to 37 at the time, when Victor Pike connected to it and everything, Rockport connected to it. Now, when 69 came in, a lot of the traffic was diverting, cutting through these subdivisions, and you could see the pattern. I think that is who is going to benefit a lot of not having that traffic in their subdivisions,
That's
which is a huge help to them. Yeah, I think people are going to use it to get to the Kroger's and everything from the Tap Road, Leonard Springs area, all around there. Yeah.
On one of our main east-west corridors.
Yeah, and that's what it was in the thoroughfare plan to be 30, 40 years ago, so.
Older than that.
I know, it is older than that. I'm just saying 30 or 40.
Do you know if there's any plan on changing signage along 69 to indicate that they can get into town that way?
Don't think so, because it already says you can go to Fullerton Pike. It doesn't say it's a dead end or anything. Now it'll be, I'm guessing, I don't know how the GPS systems update, but once that opens, then I think all the systems will update pretty much automatically. But I don't think there's any signage that has to be changed out there, because it was already foreseen, and it's a Fullerton Pike exit.
Right. Any other staff comments? You are our guest. Do you have any comments? Questions?
Glad you're here.
You're listening.
Okay. Commissioner comments. Iris, any?
I don't have anything right now. Sorry, I missed the last meeting, although I watched it on TV. How's that for you? Live on TV.
Colin?
No, I have nothing right now. Thanks.
Randy?
Previously, what we talked about prior to the meeting starting on a residential TIF and looking at try to get an area that would be able to be beneficial to help with our workforce housing. Yeah, and Jeff, what the process would be, and if you wouldn't mind just reiterating that for the public whole.
The process for any TIF, and really amending any TIF district, is the same. It starts with the Development Commission, who goes through it and gives what I will say for today is a preliminary approval that this is something they want to look at. I think there's a technical term in the statute, but I think that's the gist of it. Then it would go to the Plan Commission to review whether it complies with the comprehensive plan, and it would go to the county commissioners, who have a little bit of broader review of it as the county executive. Most of the time, but not necessarily every time, it also involves some kind of financing or some kind of issue like that, in which case the county council would be involved for the financing component of that as well. And then it comes back to the Redevelopment Commission for a kind of final hearing and approval. And if you guys do the approval, then they would do the final step through the county council for any kind of bonding. I mean, we wouldn't approve the bond until after the district has been formed, but I think we would have taken steps to make sure that they're comfortable with that action.
The baseline for residential TIF is basically in order to try to help get the cost down for our affordability of housing in our community.
I think the basic genesis for all TIFs is infrastructure and infrastructure related. I think yes, we also look at the cash flow and how it's going to come in, and sometimes that's not enough for those kind of infrastructural things. And then I think we could look at things like down payment assistance and those kind of programs that help people get into those homes as well.
You brought up the idea of a new TIF. Jeff, I'm going to tell him about the airport issue. Jeff and I have been involved in some discussions regarding opportunity for some new business entities to occupy part of the Monroe County Airport. The Chamber of Commerce has been working, trying to get a couple people interested. They have an interested party. And the whole issue now is how do we sewer the new piece of property? And there are a host of issues involved in it. And we've started to look at what the various options are. Because of the cost, including the airport in some kind of TIF district is a potential option. Unfortunately, because it's a municipal airport, doesn't generate any tax revenue. So the only way, and any development on the site doesn't develop any tax revenue. So new buildings out there, businesses don't help. So it would have to be a TIF area that's large enough to encompass multiple opportunities for taxable development, either commercial or perhaps as part of a residential TIF, residential development that would then generate taxes to help pay for the infrastructure improvements. This is unknown at this point. the first thing to do is to try and see if we can use the sewer hookup that's already there.
That's been a problem right from the beginning.
Well, we found some interesting issues with this.
I know.
It's not clear whether we can be told, no, you can't hook on, because that service is already there. Actually, the stub for the service for the new property is already there. So some anticipation had been made at some point. Anything that would be new would be occurring and diverting existing services away from the city of Bloomington to some other entity, either a new treatment facility in that area or perhaps up to Ellettsville or something like that. The question is, what happens when you say you're going to divert customers from one entity to another, and what all that entails? Because usually there's long-term investments involved in all that, and we don't know all of that stuff.
Rates.
So there are a lot of issues. I think there is a great deal of desire to make that community facility more viable for the long term by developing its commercial capabilities, which has, in the 30 plus years I've been involved in planning and zoning and development in this community, always been a priority, just no way to do it. And now we've got companies that are going to be interested, primarily, I think, because of its proximity to Crane as a facility, the development for companies like Simtra. They're going to need to have infrastructure, aviation infrastructure available. So we have some emerging needs. We just need to figure out a way to service those needs. And that's what we are embarked upon at the present time. So I thought I'd let people, this is the kind of thing we may end up, the mechanism for doing it may be a fairly large TIF area that we would then start using to develop that infrastructure first as kind of the drawing point for other infrastructure that could be put in to service other kinds of needs along the way. There's considerable amount of property out there that would be eligible for commercial. There are some severe restrictions because of flight path considerations, which go beyond 48 to the north and beyond 45 to the south and go east and west. And the new CDO has an area that's already been planned as where we've got limitations on various kinds of activities in terms of building height and noise and all that kind of stuff. So we are thinking about it. We just don't have a good plan together yet, but we are more actively pursuing it now than we have in the past. So I thought I'd update you and let you know what we're doing there.
And the airport at the present moment has existing sewer service to it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been on a discussion for a long time. I used to attend the board meetings all the time from the airport. I haven't recently. I was supposed to have attended Tuesday, but I didn't. I couldn't get out there. But it'd be very nice if we can figure out how to do it and plan it. I can just see it's going to be long term, though.
It's difficult.
It always has been.
Yeah. One of our proposals originally was to divert part of the sewer district facility along 45, where years ago, or 20 years ago, the county was instrumental in getting sewer service to that area. But the agreement with CBU for that treatment lasts for another 20 years.
Oh, really?
So there's an impediment one that's difficult to overcome. But, you know, those kind of agreements are usually move some money here and move some money there and everybody's happy. The movement of money does not seem to be the prime motivator in the present situation, unfortunately. It's not just dollars and cents that have gotten involved in this, and makes the issue of the substantial amount of funds that are necessary to do sewer infrastructure a real issue to try and figure out how to solve. And we maybe end up in the situation where It's the redevelopment commission that has to get involved to do that.
Airports are economic improvement. They are economic development. Yeah.
Community would be poorly served by, if we did not have it. And it's activity out there. I mean,
More commercial activity because, bring
That's right.
people in and keep the dollars here. So, good deal. Appreciate the update.
okay, that's where I'm at on that. That's my comments. Anybody else? Anybody remote? Hearing none, I will call for an adjournment.
Move to,
Second?
We're adjourned.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you all for participating.